right, it's 6 o'clock. I'll call it order the Grayson County Board of Supervisors. Will you mind doing the invocation pledge, going about pledge?
Like to. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Father, thank you for the day that's been given. We ask for your guidance for our supervisors tonight, after our county's business. Thank you for the reason for the season that we're in now. And we ask particular help for all of our Grayson County citizens as we continue to go through this pandemic. You just keep each one safe, and may your will be done.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sorry about that.
That's it. I thought you say anything.
I get this cut down.
All right. Welcome, everyone. First off, I'll look, if everybody's looked over the agenda, look for a motion to approve in a second.
Second.
Motion in a second. All in favor, aye. And John and Tom, you're on there, correct? Yours?
Yes.
Check. I voted aye.
I voted aye.
Good deal. First thing is reports. If Mr. Hall gives a little update on COVID to start with.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. So just very briefly, our active caseload in the county as of earlier this afternoon is 130. And that 130 includes 15 juveniles, some of which are in our schools, some of them are not. This is a substantial increase from even a week ago, basically about a fourfold increase in about 10 days. So we have seen a big increase following the Thanksgiving holidays. We have seen increases in all categories. It is throughout the county. There's not any particular place that it's coming from. So we are definitely in a widespread, community spread situation. Now, what I would like to make the board aware of is that all of us need to be doing everything we can to maintain our social distancing, maintain our masks, and when we're in public spaces, and just do everything we can during this next few weeks to minimize the potential for spread of the virus. We are really worried about hospital space right now. Southwest Virginia is at approximately 85% capacity for ICU beds. And in a lot of cases, we're even worse conditioned than that when we're looking at the ability to staff these critical beds. So we're not in good shape, and we're moving into another holiday season, and we're worried very much that if we're not careful over the Christmas season, then we're going to have even higher numbers coming out of that. So if we could just reinforce that with our folks, with our county employees, with our public, to be as careful as we can over the next few weeks. We do have vaccines that look like they're going to be approved in the next few days, and we anticipate starting vaccination with critical healthcare workers before the end of the year. And then we'll be bringing in other persons up into including the general public in the next few months. Do you have any questions?
Any questions, comments?
Thank you.
Yes.
I have one, Mr. Chairman, whenever.
Okay, go ahead.
So Paul, how do you, I think the average case or average new case is sitting at 9 per day, according to the VDH website. Prior to Thanksgiving, I think we were averaging about 5 per day. How do you reconcile the average? You know, we've increased from 5 to 9, which is 4 over, every day, which is not a good trend, but how does that reconcile with the aggregate active cases? Does that make sense? From a decision-making standpoint, I'm looking at the data, and we've got an increase in average daily count. We have also an increase in total cases, but some of those cases are at the back end of the window and some are just starting. So how does that, what's the so what behind total active cases versus looking at it from an average over time?
Yes, sir. I'll answer that to the best that I can, and I don't have a complete answer for you. So I look at two different sets of data every day, and one set of data is coming from the Department of Health website, which is probably the same place you're looking at for the 9 per day, which is about the same thing that I'm seeing. And that is sanitized data that is not protected. In other words, they have cleaned up so that there's nothing that can be attributable back to a specific individual. The sources for that data, to my understanding, are the same, but there is a delay in reporting or a delay until the data is aggregated. And so what we see is, even though, for instance, I'll just use today as an example, we might see 9 cases added today on the Virginia Department of Health website. If we look at that same day 2 weeks from now, it may not be 9, it may be 15 or 20 because it's as of reported. And so even though it's reported as 9 today, as the time goes on, there will be other data that's entered into that database that reflects what actually happened on this day, if that makes sense. The other data that I look at is actual case data that is protected health information that I get from the health department that specifically addresses individual cases where we have test results. That is where my 130 number comes from. And it is both a more exact number for us locally in one respect, because I'm actually looking at specific case data. And the reason we get this information from the health department is so that we can protect our emergency responders and our employees who actively are interacting with the public. Other than that, eventually this data that we're talking about for the 130 does end up in that Department of Health database. It just takes a while to get there. Does that make sense, sir?
Yeah, it makes, I understand. I'm just looking at the total caseload spread out over, 14 days or whatever, gets you down to almost 9, 10 cases a day. And so I'm just wondering if maybe we're saying the same thing. We're definitely on an upward trend, but how we say it, I think, is also important as we're communicating why it is we're doing what we're doing. The other question I have is, what could you cover the impact on our first responders of the active cases? I think there was a note about that.
Yes, sir. There has been a definite impact on operations for all of us in the Southwest Virginia region, but it has also very particularly hit Grayson County. So as everybody is aware, we are a volunteer system in Grayson County. We have relatively small EMS agencies who handle our caseload, and they do not have a large number of providers. So if we end up with any providers at all who are positive and have to be taken out of play for the period of time that they're overcoming the disease, even if they're not symptomatic, then that has a very significant impact on operations for those agencies. In Grayson County right now, we have what for us is a significant number of positive cases that again made themselves apparent after the Thanksgiving holiday period. And so we have several employees or several volunteers in the county right now who are unable to answer calls. Fortunately, very few of them are very sick. We do have a couple who are not well, but we don't have any hospitalized right now. But yeah, it definitely has an impact on us. We are in a position where if we have too many providers go out and we don't have providers behind them that can come in and pick up the slack. Right now, we are in a position where we have enough providers in the county that if I have one agency that's unable to cover, then I can move providers from another agency to help with that. Fortunately, the leadership in all of our agencies has been very willing to stand up and do whatever it takes to make sure that all of our county calls are covered.
I think that point's very important because, and why we need the public to stay vigilant and do the right thing. Because when we call 911, we want somebody to show up. That's the expectation. But if we don't take care of each other and our neighbors, then that person may not show up when you call. Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Anybody else?
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. You're doing a good job. And our volunteers are doing an extra good job. That's the best thing about a volunteer. They've got a servant's heart and they're all out for helping the community. So that's a good deal. And speaking of that, Mrs. June Barnes, you'll be next with the report, please. I just talked about an excellent volunteer, so.
Fit right in there.
You really set me up good, didn't you? Well, I just wanted to give an update on my class. We were here on July the 6th, and we were going to start this class, and we wanted you all's update plus the information we gave to you. And as of October the 24th, and I'm real excited about this. I don't know what you guys, we had 15 got through my class, got a passing average out of 20. And that was real good, especially with this COVID with us. So we have 2 for rugby, 4 for Mount Rogers, 2 for Troutdale. And between Troutdale and rugby, we kind of work together. 1 for Independence, 4 for Sugar Grove, and they were really hurting too. 1 that works with Smith County Life Saving Crew, and we have 1 undecided. She doesn't know which agency she's going with. Now this is saying that they have passed my class, the 100 and some hours, and they have got a passing score. They still have to do the written test. They have 2 years to do that written test. They have 5 tries to do that written test. They're all excited. They have joined, all of them has joined Mount Rogers. They're going on calls, which they can do with an EMT with them. And one of them is already going tomorrow, and she called me today, please say a prayer for me because I'm going to do my test online. We have some problems also. Taking the written test, as you know, we don't have high-speed internet. Whittle is not doing the Pearson View. So we have to call the main office of Pearson View. They set it up over a computer, and they have to monitor you to make sure that, you're not cheating or anything like that. So this is where they're kind of slow. The Pearson View says we can't handle but 1 a week or maybe 2 a week. So you're going to have to bear with us. We have 2 girls that's out, and they can't monitor. So it's kind of going to be a slow process, but they're all excited. They're all wanting to do it. And that just makes me feel real good. Students, they have 2 years or 5 tries to do this. It has been a challenge, this class. You got to know, guys, we did temps every night. We did 6 foot apart every night. We did cleaning, we did face masks. This was every night. And also we had 7 EMTs that were recertifying with this other 20. So, and we did clean the school every night with bleach water when we left. It was clean. And on that, I would like to just say that I appreciate all the help from you guys, Mr. Sheffley, Mitch, and all of you for your support of this And I told them, I said, they're watching you now. You gotta do it. So they're all excited. And I also like to thank Frank and Evelyn and Bill and all the EMTs that stepped up and said, I'll help. What do you want me to do? And to stay 6 foot away from somebody and try to train them in practicals, as you know, it's very hard, but they all did a great job. I also like to thank Mr. Cheeks, the principal out there, very helpful. If we couldn't get the commode to flush, he was right there. He was right there helping us. And made sure that it was clean, made sure that we had lights, and we used their computer, their broadband. Also, Mr. Hoyer Paul, he gave us all kind of masks. Anything I asked for, he helped me to get it. And I really appreciate his support too. As you all know, this is something we really, really needed in our community. And I think they're all excited about this now. Already had 4 more coming to me. So when are you going to do another one? So it's been hard, and we did it completely by the CDC guidelines. Also, we had to quarantine two students 14 days. After they were quarantined, of course, they had missed 2 classes. I took them to rugby, went over what they had missed for 8 hours each of them, so they didn't miss anything and wasn't getting behind on it. So I just wanted to, and anytime that we had a question about COVID, the health department of Galax, and down here too, but most of the nurses were at the health department of Galax. They give me information of what to do, how long to quarantine, and what to do. So they were very helpful. All in all, it's been very good place, and I want to say I appreciate all of you for helping. Thank you. Anyone have any questions for me?
20 new ones and 7 research.
Yeah.
Ain't that some kind of a record?
Well, we wound up with 15 that passed online, and 7 research. It's good. Yes, it's a record.
Believe that next class you can beat that though.
Oh, you think? Well, I've just been very proud of them. And I'm not quitting on them. I'm helping them get through this too, because a lot of times they don't know which way to go. When Pearson View says no, we can't take this so many, they'll call me and say, well, what do I do now? Read your book and study your questions for 2 more weeks.
Anybody else have any comments, questions?
Great work, Jim.
Mr. Chairman, I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Hey, first, June, thanks for your due diligence and just your perseverance on this training. I know it was a long road to get there, but thanks for doing that. And thanks for what you've done for the county over the many, many years. On a related topic, I wanted to just let the board know, I got a call from a member of the Troutdale Rescue Squad. I think when I first visited them, probably 4 years ago now, I think they were down to about 6 members and really struggling. He reported they now have 30 members in the Troutdale Rescue and Fire Department, and finances are on the way up and things are looking really good. And he wanted me to pass on to the board how appreciative they are, and I'm sure it applies to the other departments, but on the insurance and the benefits that we worked out for helping to incentivize the volunteer fire departments. They were very appreciative and called those out specifically as things that helped them recruit and stay in business. So just wanted to pass that along to the board.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you. Okay, next we have Miss Tammy Lawson, update on the safe shelter.
Thank y'all for having me back here tonight. So I'm here tonight as a representative of the Freeze Safe House for Women's Shelter. Since we opened our doors in March of 2020, we've had over 20 ladies seek shelter there who have found themselves in dire living situations for a multitude of reasons. We work closely with Mount Rogers, the Life Center of Galax, Hope Ministries, and local police departments. We have established a board of directors and we have applied for our 501(c) accreditation. All of the resources that are provided to the ladies at the shelter there in Freeze have been provided solely by donations, fundraising, and community support. These services include court appearances, probation, issues regarding custody, groceries, healthcare, going to and from legal appointments, transportation, church, and recovery meetings. We are, before all, a faith-based program. We require all ladies to attend daily house meetings, recovery programs, 3 times a week, and weekly church events. Alongside the board of directors, we have community board members in our immediate area who offer support, which includes transportation, going to Bible studies, or just whatever the ladies may need. With the help of community, businesses, churches, and individuals have helped us with repairs and things that needed to be done at the house. The ladies are required to work as part of their growth towards a successful future. We do random drug tests at no cost to the ladies to ensure sobriety and healthy living. While all ladies read and sign a committed obligation form at the time of intake, some women have they have special needs and stipulations due to their personal needs or circumstances. We continue to see a great success rate with the ladies as well as increased community support. Many ladies have come to the den with no possessions and through community have found themselves in a position of having enough to help others. We encourage community service and helping hands from our ladies. We are also incorporating courses in our programs such as cooking, healthy living, and such, and they will be getting certificates. Virginia Tech is offering us something after the first of the year, as long as the COVID cases are staying low. I understand they're inclined a little bit. We are planning also a Narcan training. We are already signed up for that, but due to COVID, we are on hold. In regards to COVID-19, we are diligently following all the CDC protocol and guidelines. We offer testing to the ladies. We take temps every day. They are required, if they go out, to when they come back in, they have to spray their shoes off, Lysol them, they take a shower, wash their hands, do that kind of thing. So my goal by being here today is to have the Grayson County to recognize that we are a safe haven for, the Twin Counties, Galax, Grayson, Carroll, and to acknowledge that our positive work that we're doing and to help offer resources to increase success rate and to increase our capabilities in growth and expanding. Thank you all so much for allowing me the opportunity to present this information, and that we ask each of you to be a part of this, a positive change for our community. And for any of you who wants a list of our board members, you can go to our Facebook page and look us up at Free Safe House. Ladies Den, I provided each one of you with a card. Do y'all have any questions?
Anybody questions, comments?
Do y'all have any kind of signage or anything?
Did you say sign?
Signage and stuff?
Sign in and out?
Signs for your,
No, we don't. Right now, the properties that were given to us is still, it's in transit of coming out of the lady's name and going into an organization name. And we've been dealing with IRS and with COVID. It's been hard for us to get that. So we didn't want to put anything there until we're legally able to do that.
okay. Yeah, nothing negative or anything. It's just, I had one concern in the community. They were, positive and about the house and everything and its mission.
Right.
It was just that there had been some issues with some people coming late at night, knocking on doors, and trying to find you and everything. So
Yeah, we do get some women in. Actually, Pulaski Police Department brought us a lady rather late, and and other people, bring us ladies. And sometimes when they come late, we work late. So my phone stays on all the time. And if they call me at 2 o'clock tonight, I will go out and I will make sure that that lady has one place to stay.
Okay. Appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we'll go to old business, beta contract. Mr. Shepherd.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we are looking for approval from the board to move ahead with the signing of the Vanny contract to help us move the broadband project forward.
Okay. So I'll look for any comments.
Well, Mr. Shepley, could you explain just kind of what, for everybody, just what we're doing?
Yes, we are. Well, actually, I'd like to ask if you would do that. You are the committee chairman. Do you mind giving an overview of that, Supervisor Fan?
Yeah, just for everybody's knowledge, this money, I think it's $675,000 that we were granted to contribute to phase 2 of the broadband bill. And so what this contract is doing is committing the county to using that money so that we can begin to pay for bills associated with phase 2. Phase 2 is the first phase of the fiber bill that APCO started on Monday. And so this money will go towards fiber to the home. So as the fiber gets built and then activated, then there'll be a process for customers to request access, and this money will help pay for that connection from the middle mile fiber that APCO is building to the home within 1,000 feet left or right of that particular line. That's all.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and approve the contract.
I second.
Motion and second to approve. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All right, your contract's approved.
Thank you.
Okay, next old business, request from Grayson County School Board regarding the CARES Act money. Mr. Shepherd.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we received an official request from the from the Grayson County School Board. And with your permission, I'll just go ahead and read that.
Okay.
December 10th, 2020, dear Mr. Shepley and Grayson Supervisors, we are kindly requesting reimbursement in the amount of $281,739.70 from your federal COVID relief funds. At the November 19th, 2020 meeting, their Grayson County School Board approved by a vote of 5-0 to make this request for reimbursement of CARES expenses to the school system. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to call. Thanks for your help in this matter. Best, Kelly Wilmore, Division Superintendent.
Okay. And I asked a question today, it will go to bus drivers, cafeteria workers, and
Ms. Gayhart, can you fill them in?
This request is simply a reimbursement request for approved CARES-related expenses. I think you were given a copy of those various invoices. I did this afternoon go through, tally those up. The invoices themselves add up to $341,960.44. There were some other expenses that are also qualifying that add up to $69,491.60. So they did provide more invoices, more documentation that was needed, which will make the auditors happy. If there's anything that's in a gray area, which none of this appears to be in a gray area at all, we have plenty of documentation to support their reimbursement of these particular invoices and expenses. If this reimbursement from the CARES Act is approved, this will go back into their general fund, and what they choose to do with this reimbursement is up to them.
okay, gotcha.
Mr. Chairman, this is Tom. I have a question.
Go ahead, Tom.
The invoices Ms. Gerhart, that you referred to and that you tallied up, are they for expenses that were not covered by the CARES Act money received by the school system, separate and apart from what they're requesting from us? Do we have any idea what their total expense tally looks like? And compare that to the CARES Act money they received in addition to what they're asking for from us?
Not to the level of detail that I would think you would prefer. We do have the invoice, and I think, or not the invoice, but the email from their director of finance outlining what their direct expenses were used for. They did have some allowances, but there is no double dip in any of these particular invoices.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more questions? Okay. Hearing none, I'll look for a motion to pass this request.
So moved.
Second.
Did you get that, Mitch?
I got Brenda's motion. Who?
You seconded?
I think.
I did.
Okay. All in favor, aye?
Just for the minutes, can I have that total again?
Yes, it is.
This is it, 341,960.44.
That is the number of invoices that were received. This is the actual request.
Yes.
The request is for 281,739.70.
That's what I wanted for the record.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
It is my hope that this goes to employees.
One call, excuse me.
All right. Thank you. All right. Request is passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Moving right along. New business board appointments. Jeffrey, you want to go through those?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, there are many that we need to talk about. And would you prefer that I present the whole list at one time, or do you want to do it individually?
Let's see, do we have anybody to put in them? That's, I guess, the big question. We can go through what's coming up, but does anybody have anybody to fill those positions for now?
Some of them wishes to continue to serve.
Yeah. Okay, yes, go ahead and read them all.
Okay. For Building Inspection Board of Appeals, which is a 4-year term, Robert D. Phipps' term expires on 12/31/20. And so this is someone that would come from Supervisor Sutherland's area. So if you could help us in that area, that would be great. Unless you have somebody to recommend. Okay.
I'll work on it.
Okay, thank you. Clarence Fox Jr., term expires on 12/31/20. And we would ask Chairman Belton if you could help us to find someone to fill that slot.
Ms. Shepley, on the Building Inspection Board of Appeals, are there more members on that board than just these two? And so we have samplings from the whole county, is that correct? From all the districts, is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
So does this board require representation? I know it's good to have, but does it require representation from each of the respective districts?
It's good to have that.
Go ahead.
What we've done
Go
in the
ahead.
past.
Mr. Smith.
Supervisor Fant, that's what we've tried to practice in the past to represent the whole county.
Okay, so these are from Old Town and Elk Creek, and we're hope to replace them from there. Got it.
Mr. Phipps does not choose
That's right.
to come back.
Have we contacted Mr. Cox?
Looks like we have.
No,
You don't
on either one of these, I don't know that they've been they need to be contacted to see if they're still willing
Okay.
to serve.
Okay.
That's what
Or
I'll do
if they're
first.
not, then you can find a replacement.
Thank
Can
you.
the, can the staff make that contact?
Sure.
Linda, can you?
Yeah, we'd be glad to.
I mean, that's just,
Okay.
I know Junior, but I guess it'd be better, I guess, Linda was to call or send.
Okay, we'll be glad to do it. For District 3 Governmental Cooperative, 1-year term. Supervisor Sutherland's term expires 12/31/20, and she has indicated that she will continue to serve. We appreciate that. Elizabeth Jones' term expires on 12/31/20, and she's also indicated that she will continue to serve. For the Economic Development Authority, we're going through a state of transition, as I've described to the board before, and we are bringing in, we're having some of the people that have been on the board for a while are stepping off, and we're bringing in some new people. And we're working with the board to try to fill some of the spots that will be open. Right now, what we have is, well, actually, I believe we talked about last time approving everybody that is the final slate once we get that completed. So we will continue to develop that slate and bring it to you hopefully in January. Grayson County Senior Advocacy Committee, it's indicated that there's a vacancy. Do you know anything about that vacancy, Supervisor Fan?
there's several vacancies on there. We've got, I think, only 2. We still have the Planning Commission and Board of Supervisors reps, and we have 2 citizens, but it requires 3 to 5 citizens to make up the committee. And so we need at least 1, if not 3. And they can be from anywhere in the county.
Okay.
But if back to the EDA on the do we have any, based on your retooling of the EDA, do we have some guidance from you on what it is you're looking for, the skills, capabilities, experience, any of that stuff that we can use to help find the people you're looking for?
Yeah, I'm looking for folks for entrepreneurs, for folks that have some broadband experience. This would be the ideal. I'm listing to you the ideal. Folks that have healthcare experience, just economic development experience overall. I'm looking to get a wide range of ages in that group, and of course, I want as much diversity as I can possibly get in the group. I'm looking for folks that are familiar with Grayson County and the culture here, and sort of a mixture of the expertise. Primarily would be entrepreneurial expertise. I'd say actually entrepreneurial expertise is probably the #1 thing I'm looking for. In as many areas as possible, but particularly broadband, healthcare, economic development.
So in the charter, or whatever the right term is that established the EDA, is there any sort of language that we need to modify or you need to modify so that we'll make sure we're in alignment as we kind of adjust this thing? And does that need to be updated?
Yeah, that needs to be updated. I'm glad you pointed that out. I'll take a look at that and come back with a recommendation to the board.
Yeah, if we could get some, that updated, and then also some screening criteria, so to speak, of who you're looking for sort of published, then we can probably, I think there's people out there, but we want to make sure that we've got the right mixture of what you're after.
Sounds good. I'll do it.
In my opinion.
So,
This EDA has been such a long time since we did anything like this. Is it per district, so many per district, or just county-wide?
Go ahead, Mr. Flynn.
There's supposed to be representation from all parts of the county.
How many? As I see, Chris Butler wants to serve.
Yeah, I think there has to be a
Is that your
minimum of,
district or mine?
I think you have to have at least 5.
it's either 5 or 6, and they
Five.
can have up to 9.
On Cookman Fork Road.
You have to have an odd number, either 5 or 7.
Kind of very joke. They voted for Providence District.
Joe is on your side. Let's see.
Yeah, he's on the west side of the road.
So he would be,
Kind of mixed up.
Well, I know Joe got going, so actually,
he'd represent Providence.
Greg
Thank you.
well, I mean, I did at that time, but
Yeah.
that was before
Greg
the
Webb.
district.
Yeah.
And Greg in here.
Greg is.
Greg no longer chooses to,
Larry Osborne's in line.
they resign. Ricky.
Yeah, I'll get you some criteria that you can
That'd be good.
use to try to figure out who you would recommend for this group. That's a good suggestion. Thank you.
And I'll take this time to thank the ones that's been on
Absolutely.
all this time, so.
Yeah, we do appreciate that. So back to the Grayson County Senior Advocacy Committee, just if the board can help out on trying to get a couple more folks to participate, that'd be great. Mount Rogers ASAP 3-year term. Renee Nestor's term expires on 12/31/20. She's indicated that she'd like to continue. New Rivers Highlands RC&D 1-year term. Tracy Cornett's term expires 12/31/20. She's indicated she'd like to continue to serve. On the Planning Commission, it's a 4-year term. Charlie Ward's term expires 12/31/20. I don't think we have the answer as to whether he wants to continue or not at this point.
Hey, Ms. Shipley, I spoke to Mr. Ward. He will continue. At the
Okay.
clerk
Great. Michael D. Phipps, term expires 12/31/20, does not wish to serve another term. I believe he's in,
Providence District.
he's in your Supervisor Hash's area, so if we can get some help there, we'd appreciate that. Southwest Virginia EMS Council, Paul D. Hoyle's term expires 12/31/20. He would like to continue to serve. The With Grayson Regional Library 4-year term, John S. Vance's term expires on 12/31/20. Have you made a decision on that, Supervisor Fant?
Sure, I'll stay.
Great, thank you. Sandra Venzi's term expires 12/31/20, and she would like to continue to serve also. That's it.
Okay,
Hey, Mr. Chairman, if you would like me to read the ones the board can vote on tonight, I have them start.
okay, that'd be good.
That would be Ms. Brenda Sutherland and Elizabeth Jones in District 3, wish to continue to serve. The next one I have starred is Charlie Ward, Renee Nestor in ASAP, and Tracy Cornett in the New River RC&D, and Charlie Ward for the Planning Commission. And then also in the Regional Library, John Fant will continue to serve, and Sandra Benzie. So I have those starred that you can vote on.
What about in the
Oh,
economic,
And Paul Hoyle. Excuse me.
the Economic Development Authority, where we have Mr. Anderson, who is willing to continue?
Okay, I think Mr. Shepley said that there'll be a final slate made. What I have in the notes, there'll be a final slate that'll be approved when he's finished, and he hopes to do that by January for the
Is that
board.
okay?
Okay,
motion to approve the list that Mr. Smith.
Second.
motion and a second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
And
Thank you.
appreciate all the ones volunteering for those committees and ones that we're going to approach. We got a little work ahead of us. That's a good thing. There's a lot of people in Grayson County will step up and serve, I'm sure. Okay, next. New business would be the budget calendar.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I spoke with several board members who had really good suggestions about our communication with those that will be submitting budgets through the county. And we, as the tradition would be here, we would be sending a letter out to all the agencies and departments and organizations that submit their budget through the county. That would be submitted on December 18th. And I wanted to say a little bit about that before you guys decide whether the calendar is with your approval. This is really a unique time in history, as all of you know, in particular in the United States with what we're going through with the coronavirus. The pandemic has created budget challenges for all levels of government. This year will be especially significant in restoring the financial balance after the end of COVID-19, which we hope is on the horizon. I will be sending out a letter to all agencies, departments, and organizations that submit all or part of their budgets through the county with instructional information. If the board would like to make suggestions regarding the content of this letter, please send them to Lisa Gayhart by the end of the workday on Monday, December 14th, so that they can be incorporated into the letter and reviewed and distributed by December 18th. So I think that the recommendation is a good one, that we need to have some special instructions for this particular year. This is different than it's normally been. I look forward to getting any input that the board may have to that, but in order to make us able to meet our timelines on this, it'd be great to get that information by the end of the day on Monday. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair.
So, having said that, we would be looking for the approval of the budget calendar.
Okay. Any comments?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I got a couple.
Okay, well.
You know, I just don't think, given what we've learned over the last 3 years of budgeting, I think we need to be, especially now, given the challenges we know and the headwinds that we're facing, we need to be a little more prescriptive in what our expectations are. And so, although it's one technique to send them in, I think having those comments consolidated and discussed and then voted on by the board at our organization meeting on the 5th of January is probably a more appropriate way. You know, yeah, it's a 3-week delay, but 2 weeks of that are wrapped up around Christmas and New Year's. And so in the overall big scheme of things, I don't see that delaying 3 weeks on the approval of the guidance letter from the board to all the departments and to the school on what our expectations are going in and how we see the future financial situation of the county going forward. I think that's pretty important for us to sit around and discuss as a group to make sure we kind of are all on the same sheet of music. I think we can delay that release of that letter probably by a month and not have, based on what we've seen in the last several years, not have an adverse effect on the rest of the calendar going forward. You know, the other one, the joint meeting with the school board, it's always good to get together with them, but last year we tried to do it in January and it got canceled. So again, we've got some flexibility early in the calendar that I think it would behoove us to have the draft of what the staff thinks we ought to be telling the departments, and then a discussion with the board so that we can come to a final agreement going forward. So my suggestion is that we delay we debate the suggestions at the 5 January organization meeting, and then we release it that week after. That's my suggestion.
Any other comments, suggestions?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Smith, when we talked about that possibility, help me remember what complications that could occur from that.
It just delayed things for the finance department. and Lisa and Ms. Gayard being able to send out and giving department heads time to work and do their budgets, it'll squeeze things closer together.
Well, I was just thinking with Supervisor Fan's comment about that time frame occurring primarily over the Christmas, or holiday season, there's probably not a lot that we would miss. I mean, there's probably not a lot of work time that would occur in that period if people are on holiday. So, I mean, either way, we could make it work either way, whatever the board's preference would be.
So it won't have it won't affect Lisa and,
Yes, it will.
Yeah, I think
will it put her behind?
from what my team said to me was it would put us behind, but I mean, I think we could manage it if we need to do it, is what I'm saying, but it wouldn't be the ideal from a time standpoint for us. If you have any other thoughts,
No, I'm just going on what we
Yeah,
heard. As
that's
far
what we
as
heard for
finance
sure.
department and the squeeze of information, and the time frames that have to be met later on. So it might put the squeeze.
I know it's been a few years, but I think we ought to get back to kind of articulating in this letter, in addition to the administrative requirements, kind of what the goals and objectives are for this upcoming budget year. And that's important for people to receive first, so it doesn't get lost as we go through this, because they need to understand where we are and where we think we're going, as they begin to draft it. What we don't really want to do is begin work and then something change change is always constant, but things that we should know to be able to tell. Frankly, we're only halfway through the budget year. So we're in a good place, I think, early on to be able to have a little flexibility that may actually save us some work as we articulate what it is that we're trying to do and why. That's all I'm suggesting, is that we can submit the stuff to Lisa, we can build the draft letter, and then we can discuss it at the 5 January meeting and then get it out right after that. In practical terms, you're talking about 2 weeks from the 18th to, the first week of, 3, from the 18th to the 5th of, 7th or 8th or 9th of January.
So does the departments think that they got to get us out in the 12/18 next week? They don't know
Normally,
yet.
they are used to getting it before
Christmas.
Okay.
But that doesn't, I can't speak for them, what they'll do to them. It must be a change.
They probably have an idea of what they're looking to do in the upcoming year, maybe what some particular needs will be.
I don't know that it'll affect them that much, because most of them do a bare bones budget anyway. Have been used to doing that for years. So I don't know that it'll have that much effect.
I think we would be okay with waiting until January. Yeah, I think we'd be okay. The first reaction will be, well, that cut our time down quite a bit to react. And if you're going to put new requirements in, then we'll have to adjust to that. It won't be our regular middle of a budget.
Yeah, there are some dates in the budget that are not flexible.
Yeah.
You have to meet them.
But I think Supervisor Fan's point is well made, that they need to know what's at the foundation of what we're looking for from them, if it differs from what it's been in the past. And we need to make sure we're all on the same page on it. So we could make that work.
So for me to understand, you're talking about moving the date from 12/18 to
Well, it's going to go out sometime after January the 5th, because now Supervisor Fant's asking that the board look at it on the 5th. And then Lisa will have to get it ready to go out to the department heads.
So we want to look at the request and not insert it in the budget. So I'm just trying to clear on the dates.
It would basically be, that the approval of the, well, actually, we still would like to get the approval of the dates, but what would happen is in January 5th meeting, there would be a discussion of the letter that would be going out to all the different departments and agencies and final approval of what needs to be sent out. That's what I'm understanding you're recommending, Supervisor Fan. Do I have that wrong?
Basically, just eliminating 12/18 from what's here.
And just add it to the January 5th.
Correct.
Okay,
So that'll happen on January 6th, 7th, somewhere in there, 8th.
Now, once the board's looked at it, then this budget will have to include a dispersal of those. 12/18 will have to come in after January the 5th.
Yeah, you're right. It would have to.
Yeah.
Because you may change it that night of January 5th and need us to incorporate some changes, but it can go out the next day.
What day's that on?
Fifth is Tuesday, I think.
So by the end of the week, that would probably be realistic, wouldn't it?
And whereas normally she gives them about a month to get it back, they're basically gonna have about a couple of weeks to get it back. So we could get,
okay, can we approve this budget calendar or not with those? Do you want to make that into a motion, Mr. Fant?
Wait, I have,
Go ahead. So,
I have a major conflict on January the 25th that I cannot change. Even the school board. And, you know, I don't have to be there, but
now that, I will say that Linda has worked with Murray on the school board dates to get everything in unison for both boards and
I'm
those
not,
dates.
I could be on the phone, but
Yeah,
I
those
can't be
dates work.
physically here. Does that work?
Yeah,
Okay.
that would be great.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
okay. All right. So does somebody want to make that motion to approve the budget calendar with those two dates changed?
So we would be dispersing on the 6th, January the 6th, to the departments.
Yeah, on or about the 6th. So I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman, that we adopt the Grayson County budget calendar with noted changes.
I second that.
Mr. Revel, second. All in favor, aye. Okay,
Thank you.
budget approved with those two changes.
God.
Okay, next, the resolution intent to abandon the portion of Route 702, which is Curry Street and section state highways.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to read that resolution with your permission.
Okay.
A resolution, the notice of intent to abandon a portion of Route 702 from the secondary system of state highways. Whereas it appears to this board that secondary Route 702 from Route 58 to 0.08 miles northeast of Route 58, a distance of 0.08 miles, serves no public necessity and is no longer necessary as part of the secondary system of state highways. Now therefore be it resolved, the clerk of the board is directed to post and publish notice of the board's intent to abandon the aforesaid section of Route 702 pursuant to statute 33.2-909 of the Code of Virginia as amended. Be it further resolved that a certified copy of this resolution be forwarded to the resident administrator of the Virginia Department of Transportation, adopted this 10th day of December 2020 in Grayson County, Virginia.
Okay, any questions?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I just want to make sure we're straight, because when I looked at the resolution and I compared it to the request between the landowner and VDOT, Road 702 isn't part of the easement that he's signed with VDOT. 702 is actually Curry Street. As I looked at it on the satellite imagery, I think what they're talking about is another right-of-way that was cut from 58 that allows the individual that owns the land that has signed the easement with VDOT to get into his house without having to drive up Curry Lane. And so I think that's the section that we're talking about if I read the easement correctly. But the resolution specifically talks about 702, and the concern I have is that there may be confusion because there's like 4 or 5 houses along Curry Street. And I just don't want to, I want to make sure that we don't inadvertently cause Curry Street itself to be abandoned by VDOT when in fact they're talking about, I think, this right of way that exists that's actually a little further to the west of 702. That's how I looked at it. And I may have it wrong, but 702 is not really addressed in the actual easement between the landowner and VDOT. It's only in our resolution. So I want to make sure we're straight and accurate.
Do you have any info on that?
Dana said it is Curry Street, and that's what's in our board packet. It's Curry Street, and it is a section of 702.08 miles that they're talking about.
Yeah. And I'm suggesting, I'm not sure, having talked to some folks that are familiar with that area, I'm not sure we're talking about Curry Street. I'm not sure the landowner and VDOT are talking about Curry Street because there's another section. What part of Curry Street are we talking about?
Ms. Black told me that it's the part across from what used to be the old Wallsburn Hotel.
Yep. I'm uneasy with the resolution because it says 702. The agreement between VDOT and the landowner does not talk about that road. It talks about a different right of way. And I want to make sure, I don't think we're under any pressure to get this thing done tonight. I could be wrong, but I just want to make sure we're correct in the language between the resolution and what the easement is between, or the agreement is between the landowner and VDOT.
Yeah, sure, we can double check that.
I mean, Mitch, if we were going to do this and there are multiple houses on that road, wouldn't we need something from all of the landowners that have property that they access from that road in order to properly consider this?
I will have to get with Ms. Black on that. This resolution is actually VDOT's resolution. They're the ones that are doing this, and they've jumped through all the hoops to make sure that it's correct. So you're asking questions that I will not be able to answer tonight. I'll have to get back with Ms. Black, and she'll have to get back with VDOT to answer these questions. I would assume that VDOT has already done all the due diligence in making this happen, because this is their resolution, and I think there was maps looked at and all, and they've got it mapped out exactly what's supposed to happen, but I can't guarantee you that because yeah.
Mitch, reading from the document between VDOT and the landowner, it says the grantee owns the right of way extending from the terminus of Curry Street, a state right of way across the grantor's property to Route 58. So that's where I think they're talking about, is that where Curry Street actually ends is where there's this other piece of road that he's asking to be abandoned. And I just want to make sure we're straight with the language, because the state, the common name Curry Street is used in the agreement. We're using 702 in the resolution. I just want to make sure we're accurate.
I can tell you, I've heard what you just said, that at the end of the street is the part that's abandoned and actually goes out into a pasture field, I think, or something.
Right.
I have heard that, but I don't want you to go on what I've heard and And, you know, I think that's correct. I think we're safe in doing this. Like I say, this is a VDOT resolution. They did all the due diligence, but I certainly would want the board to feel comfortable in what they're doing. And we can go back and double check. I think it's okay, but we can go back and double check.
You can look at the map that's on our.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at, Ms. Sullivan, is the GIS and also compared it to Google Maps. And so I think I know where they're talking about, but I just want to make sure the language is right. That's just my opinion. I mean, obviously, I'm just one vote.
Can we get VDOT's right-of-way personnel just to sign off that we've got it ready and right, and then we just table this the next meeting?
Sure.
Yes.
It wouldn't hurt for him to be here.
Okay, motion to table the resolution until we hear back from VDOT's right-of-way personnel.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor, aye. Okay. Get that, Mr. Smith.
Working on
Can you ride a little faster, please?
it. I'm right, as fast as I can, sir.
Okay.
I basically said in the notes that Kenneth asked to get Supervisors Belton asked to get a sign off, and Supervisor Sullivan asked that they be here. So we'll,
If possible.
if possible. Okay, so I have that in the notes.
Okay.
And we table it.
All right, next is the contract, Pearson's appraisal service.
Yes, Mr. Supervisor, Mr. Chairman. We are looking for the board's approval to move ahead with the Pearson's appraisal service contract. Mr. Smith, do you have any additional information you'd like to provide to the board about?
This process has been going on for a while. I actually went to Mount Rogers Planning District when all the people, all the different appraisal companies came in and did their appraisals for Mount Rogers Planning District, all the jurisdictions that make that up. And then they select who basically it's done to save the county's money, because you do it together. Then you got a lot of appraisals, and volume gets you a better price. So basically that's what we done. Mr. Bolt, our Commissioner of Revenue, even got a better price by talking to him the year before or something. And he actually came in, don't quote these numbers exactly, like $275 per parcel versus $325 that was actually through the Mount Rogers Planning District. So he saved more money by being proactive and talking to them, and they actually honored that and gave them a better price than even Mount Rogers with all the volume got. So Mr. Bolt has looked at the has looked at the appraisal contract. It's been sent to our county attorneys. He reviewed it and made just a few minor contract, just real minor contract agreement changes. Sent it back for Mr. Bolt, and Fred Pearson with Pearson's appraisal service looked at it. They were good to go with it. Sent that back to us today, and everyone feels good about it. So the people that's going to be working with it feels good about it.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, look for a motion to approve the contract with Pearson's appraisal service.
So moved. Second.
So get that?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor, aye?
I think it was that.
Is that aye, Mr. Rebels?
That was an aye.
Thank you.
All right. Next, county administrator's report.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have quite a few things I'd like to review, kind of sort of an end of the year review of what's happened, with your permission.
Yes, sir.
As we all know, 2020 has been a very challenging year for our nation. our Commonwealth, and our county. In the midst of the tragedy, though, we've had significant accomplishments and success this calendar year. I wanted to point out some of those. We need to end this year on as happy a note as we can. So one of the first thing is the broadband expansion in Grayson County. Broadband partnership between the county, Appalachian Power, and Gigabeam is proceeding. The work has begun. Grayson County will be transformed from the least connected county in the Commonwealth to one of the most connected rural counties in the nation. Second thing that's happened is we have secured the Metalworks company here in Grayson County. Working with the town of Independence and our regional partners, we have successfully recruited Metalworks to Grayson County. They had their grand opening several weeks ago, and they hope to hire as many as 40 new employees to their organization. The third thing I wanted to point out is that River Ridge Meats we've worked successfully with them to support their expansion plans. And these expansion plans will be bringing between 20 and 40 new jobs to Grayson County through that partnership. The fourth thing is that we have worked closely to try to bring, we've been trying to bring healthcare closer to home for our folks. We have worked out a deal with Tri-Area Community Health Partnership, the folks that we were originally looking to do the FQHC with. We've completed our partnership with them to bring healthcare closer to home. They will open the former doctor's office in Grant in mid-January of 2021 to serve as a satellite facility and to provide affordable and accessible healthcare to the people in the western part of our county. This will also add about 5 new jobs. One of the things that I'm extremely excited about is the work that the planning phases that are going on at the old Mount Rogers School, which is an icon of this county. That's something we want to preserve and we want to keep as part of our history and part of our future. Significant progress has occurred in the creation of a plan to revitalize the original portion of Mount Rogers School to develop a welcome center, a performance center, and a heritage center. Virginia Tech is working with us to make this vision into a reality, and it is an extremely exciting period of time in that particular initiative, and we're hoping to move that forward over the next few months. Food City here in Independence, we've worked with our partners in the town of Independence to finalize an agreement with Food City in Independence to build a greatly expanded new store that will include a deli on the grounds of the current Food City store. 20 or more jobs will be created through this expansion. The seventh thing I want to talk about is the Baywood Technical Center. We are hiring a project director to lead our efforts to establish a high-tech educational center and library in the former Baywood Elementary School building. Great things are happening in Grayson County. 2021 is going to be a great year for us. We've laid the foundation for a tremendous amount of growth economically and also through the provision of a better way of life for the people that live in this county. Lots of people have participated in this, but as we come out of the COVID-19 crisis and the vaccine is distributed and we recover from that, we are poised to really expand what we're doing here in Grayson County. The stage is set, and I just thought it was important for me to make sure that you all know this and that the people of the county know that there may have been COVID-19 here, but we have progressed forward at a really rapid rate during this period of time, and there are great things on the horizon for us. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And on the Gigabeam side, crews are started. They're putting up fiber in Elk Creek. If you're up that way, you'll see at least 2 crews. They're planning that their plans are they're doing a mile a week. Wow. So, I mean, they've got maybe 24 months looking at, but they're shooting for a year. So they're going to be wide open. So as long as the weather holds out and COVID hangs down, we'll get on with it. But in the paper, there were some hot spots that was listed. I know Tom won't get the paper till July next week. But I think Mount Rogers was one hotspot, Baywood School was a hotspot, lower deck of the courthouse here is a hotspot. It seemed like there's one more, where was
Can't remember off the top of my head. Do you know, Mitch?
it? But anyway, we should, Parkham had some signs to put out, hotspot, and Mr. Caldwell was going to get them put up. So,
Okay.
anybody else?
I saw him today in Oak Creek. I've never seen so many excited people.
Hey, Mr. Chairman, what'd you say the rate of the build was?
Mile a week is what they're shooting for.
Okay, thanks.
Anybody else got any? Thing on the, there's a lot of stuff that's got going is good, and 2021 will have to be better.
Absolutely.
All right. Registered speakers, do we have any?
Mr. Caldwell, are you listening? That's actually how they would have to come through. So
Okay. All right, and I have no board supervisors time that I'm aware. Look for motion to go into closed session, discuss personnel matter, so 2.2-3711A1 and of A5 for effective business or industry.
So moved.
Moving second, all in favor, aye. We'll take this 5-minute break and we'll be in the closed session. Thank you.
Carl? Carl? Okay, you're a key in the.
Okay, look for a motion to come out of closed session.
So moved.
Second.
Who's taking notes here?
Oh. That's dangerous, man. Okay, who made the motion?
Tom.
Motion, and I think it was Tom second, I think.
That's fine.
All in favor,
Aye.
and we are out of closed session. Need to survey the board that we discussed nothing other than the personnel matter of 2.2-3711A1 and A5 of prospective business and industry. Mr. Ash.
I so certify.
Ms. Sutter.
I so certified.
Mr. Ravels.
I so certify.
Man.
I so certify.
And also certified. Look for motion to adjourn.
So,
Second.
And all in favor, aye.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Same to you.
Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
stay safe.
Mike made the motion and who seconded it?